I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
Sorry, I'm not usually I like to set my notifications about 30 minutes in advance, but I can't do that because we're not allowed to have our phone in the courtroom. So as soon as I come out, I want to update you. Well, okay, so today Jane got on the stand. And again, yesterday when I talked about it, I thought, okay, I am looking for information about how he was abusive to Jane or how he tried to blackmail her with X tapes, any of that. We still haven't heard about any of that. Today, she had a full day of testimony. However, it's still somewhat early because the prosecution was saying that their hope is to do a full day with her on Monday and to conclude the direct at the end of the day Monday, but they can't even promise for that. So hit that like as you come on in. So what that means is that there's still a lot that the government wants to cover. But y'all, she basically went through the relationship, and yeah, the rain is coming, so I'm gonna take cover. I can feel some sprinkles. We'll do what I can. But um, basically, one of the crazy things that I was shocked to learn is so number one, I've confirmed the theory for the prosecution. Their theory is that Jane was ex trafficked because based on coercion, not force so far, but coercion and fraud. The fraud is that he continued to promise her that, oh, this will be like that he would take her on a trip, and then on the subsequent trip, she wouldn't have to perform in any of these freak offs. That was a fraud. And that she stopped hanging out with her girlfriends, she stopped going to events, she stopped doing other things because those would upset him. And in turn, her expectation was that he would then, not require her to do these every single time. Now, it's not clear if her expectation is that he would then not require her to do them at all, or maybe there would be a bigger mix of like quality time. But the gist of what she talked about, so I was really shocked that they're gonna add in an additional ex trafficking charge based on fraud, with the fraud being that basically she found out that one of his other girlfriends, he took her, young Miami, he took her on a trip for her birthday, rented a villa, got a private jet, invited all her homegirls. And she literally, her birthday was somewhere around that time. And for her birthday, he did like hardly anything. He basically just got a hotel room and had her do an FO, had her do a freak off on her own birthday. So
I'm sorry. They have nothing. For one thing, she's a grown 30 something year old woman who already has a child by 50 Cent. She receives about 40,000 a month in child support already for Sire. She's not some young, impressionable woman that's being coerced or any of that nonsense they were trying to paint with these other with Cassie or the other. You can't paint that, especially not right now. But again, if you listen to what she said, they're trying to add a new charge on there for fraud. What is the fraud? She saw on the internet that he's with another girl and he took her on another trip for her birthday, but it was a better trip than she got taken on for her birthday. So that's what we're doing now. We're enabling bitter ex girlfriends that are mad when they see the guy they want to be with a younger woman. They're going to allow now these women to sue you and to press criminal charges against you for fraud. Just like they're saying, well, he had her in the room doing freak offs. What's to say she didn't have him in the room doing freak offs? They're both equals. Men and women are equal. That's what I've been hearing the last, I don't know, 10, 20 years of my life. He doesn't have a weapon on her. He's not forcing her. What they're doing now is they're saying, well, you were taking her on these trips. You were taking her on vacation. But when you got there, you expected her to have sex. That's my personal business. That's my prerogative. Why else would I bring somebody? And what's going on in my bedroom and what my personal proclivities are, as long as the other person is consenting and no one's forcing, why does that got to be the topic of discussion in court on a national scale? This is the most embarrassing shit ever. I want everybody knowing what kind of porn I watch and what kind of nasty stuff me and my ex-girlfriend did. Fuck, hell no, I don't want to. Because all sex sounds weird and gross, and it's crazy. The people that are on these juries and in these, everyone's so vanilla. Oh my God, baby oil. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This must be the end of the world. Maybe there was crack in there. There's, what the fuck? So what? He wants to put baby oil on a beautiful woman. I'd like to see baby oil on women too. Does that also mean that I'm also a bad person? The fact that they're blowing this up and they're harping on this like this is just some criminal act. It's insane. But they're going to start letting ex-girlfriends who have aged out, when other men have left them alone, they cut them off. Hey, you go take care of yourself. We don't have any kids together. We're not married. They're going to just let anybody now accuse you of abuse so that you have to keep giving them money and being nice to them. Somebody can say, you know what? I felt like the last 5 years we were together, I was being trafficked the whole time and everything was forced. I didn't want to do anything. I was scared that I was going to lose money. So that's going to be the new precedent. Is your landlord now going to be considered your pimp? Are they going to arrest your landlord because you went out and you sold your body, you went to a strip club to make money, and all the money you made, you gave it to your landlord? Are they going to now figure out ways to twist that around where all the money that you paid for stuff was actually proceeds from illegal activity? So technically that person's involved in a RICO indictment now? It's crazy how perverse they are when they're twisting around the words of the law. It makes the law a joke. You can turn a 1 into an 11 like that now. No burden of proof. Nobody can do anything anymore consensually. Basically, women no longer have rights again. Then if that's the case, if women can't choose what they want to do, if women can't decide what they want to do with themselves, why are they allowed to vote? Why are they allowed to work? Why are they allowed to buy property? Why? If everything a woman does is because a man's forcing her, then how can you trust anything anybody does? It's not adding up. Women cannot be strong, independent equals until it's inconvenient, and now they're victims of men who control them with money. A man's money, it's his wallet, his choice. If he says it's my way or the highway, you cannot charge him with fraud and coercion because he says, look, there goes the door. If you don't want to do this, then bounce. He has every right to say, no, it's my way, and these are my expectations, or you can leave. You cannot take that fucking right away from a man. You can't take that away from an individual. If I don't want to pay somebody's rent because we're not getting along or we're fighting, I don't have to. If she says, hey, I don't want to do this no more, and guess what, baby? I don't want to do this no more either. Then we both go our own ways. You don't come after me civilly and legally X amount of months later pretending that you're a victim. Well, he cut me off and he told me he's not going to pay my rent. He doesn't have to pay your rent. He doesn't owe you anything. Pay your own rent. How about that? That way you don't got to ever have sex again. Since it seems like you're only having sex for the man. I guess women don't have clitorises or they don't have any sensation down there. All sex is just for the enjoyment of men. All women are just victims. There's no way they would choose to have group sex or have fantasies or have any kind of tendency. There's no way. That's impossible, right? What are we reducing women down to right now? What are we reducing them now? Now there's nothing they can't consent or think of anything on their own. Everything is force or coercion. Are you kidding me? So now the fact that he pays her bills and he gives her money, that's going to be a secondary charge because they're going to say, well, wait, actually, she wasn't his girlfriend, even though they consider themselves dating. She was a sex worker. And he was, I don't know, was he a or was he the trick? We know he's a simp, which is a combination of both, but was he the man pimping her out and getting money from her selling, or was he the person being sold to? I'm not understanding how this works. And they're going to have to actually break it down and explain it a lot better, because right now it's not making any sense. I mean, it's laughable. He's a dual agent. Not only is he a pimp, but he's also the only customer there. So is he wiring money to himself on behalf of her? How is that prostitution? Oh, well, he did transport her. They took a private jet on a vacation. So that's him transporting her for prostitution? Because, yeah, I like to have group sex. People do orgies every fucking night. Are you going to start criminalizing those? Are those going to be made illegal, what people do in their own home behind closed door? Because later on, the person gets divorced and the man no longer wants to pay her bills. Now she can, as a case in case, whoa, actually, 10 years ago, that was trafficking. I didn't want to do this. But you did it. You didn't file a police report. You could have left and went home. You don't live with him. He even said, hey, we're done. You wanted to come back. Like, what message are we sending here? His own generosity. Oh, he wasn't good to these women. He was bad to these women. How? Backstage to concerts, vacations, shopping sprees. So what he yells, every man yells. Every couple fights. Sometimes it gets a little physical. Did anybody die? No. Is anybody in a hospital? No. It happens. Toxic relationships happen. A man with multiple women, you're balancing a lot. Is that toxic? Yes. Are these women all cheaters? Yes. Do these women monetize their beauty? Yes. Does that inherently make these women toxic? Absolutely. Absolutely, it makes these women toxic. But I'm the crazy person because I said, hey, if he chooses to deal with toxic women, isn't it his body, his choice, his wallet, his choice? Come on, are we going to take that away from men right now? I don't think we can. We can't take that away from men. We can't take choice away from women. If she chose to do that with herself, then she chose to. He's not using money to force her to do anything. He's just giving her his terms. If you don't agree to the terms of our contract, then you can walk away from it and I don't pay you and you get to not do whatever. That's your choice. But there is a choice. No one forced anything. And that's all the government has to twist around, then they really don't have nothing.
Then she sees that, oh, sorry guys, let's do this. Put on my do not disturb. There we go. There we go. When I put on that do not disturb, then she sees that he's done so much more for Young Miami, and she literally, yes, they described Young Miami as his business partner. So she had become like envious of his relationship with her because he had left her and told her that, oh, he wasn't going to go do anything. He wasn't feeling well, only for her to see on social media that he's in the gym with Young Miami and somewhere else. And like she's at his house. Now he described Young Miami, quote, as his business partner. And she sent a text message to him upset saying that not only, she said, you call her your business partner, that's not just your business partner. That's not that. And also you throw in my face how she does things for you financially. So apparently Diddy was telling Jane about how Young Miami will buy him things, will spoil him, will do stuff for him. Well, that was really interesting to me because it was like Young Miami in his life is providing value outside of the bedroom, right? She's got the Carisha.
If you think about it, that's when every man leaves his ex-girl. We've all been in relationships with women, and it's all just one way. When you go out to eat, you pay as a man. When you guys go to a show or to a club or to a party or shopping, everything comes out of your pocket. In this case, Diddy's giving this woman thousands. I bet you she never bought him shit on his birthday. I bet you she never bought him shit for Father's Day, President's Day, Diddy Day, all these accolades. She's thinking, oh, he has money, he's rich. She's not considerate. All that money he's paying her, you think she took $5 out to go get on some socks and tank tops one time or buy or anything? No, absolutely not. But he gets with a new chick. She got her own bread, and guess what she's doing? Presents for him, spoiling him. Naturally, he's going to compare the two women. He's like, I'm going to leave this other one alone. So you're going to let a bitter, vengeful ex who got dumped for somebody else who's younger and better, you're going to let that person now come and file suit against me, and you're going to actually try to put me in jail saying that this was transportation for the purpose of prostitution because I used to give her and pay her bills. I'm her boyfriend, and I'm a billionaire. Of course I'm going to help her with money. Of course I'm going to pay bills. But had he not paid her bills and not helped her financially, would they have been able to put the prostitution label on this? The answer is no. They used this man's own generosity against him. His own generosity, his own kindness was used as a weakness. That's just amazing to me that if he would have just been an asshole to her, just think about it. She's dealing with 50 Cent. He's having sex with other men. I'm sure they're doing stuff, not much. Diddy's probably doing the most for her. And look where it landed him. She's actually testifying against him. The worst part about it, Diddy's been in jail since last year. Guess who she said is still paying her rent? The man she's literally testifying against. He's still paying her $10,000. Do you know how much 10 grand? Do you know what kind of place you're renting for 10 grand a month? Bro, this is sick.
Please show. She's got music. Music stuff in the industry, all this different type of stuff. Whereas, and so as a result of her providing him value outside of the bedroom, he is spending time with her outside of the bedroom. Versus this woman, there's been no discussion of what she provides of value other than being drop dead gorgeous and being available to him. So it's almost like Diddy sees Jane as a sex toy and treats her like one, whereas Diddy is seeing other women in different ways. At this point, Kim is passed, so we can't compare that, and treating them separately. Keep that in mind. One of the other bombshells is that Diddy was so serious about these freak offs that at one point they were in different towns or different places, and she texts him that, hey, how about the next time I see you, we can have an all-star freak off. He's like, well, what's that? The all-star freak off, she was going to hire 3 or 4 of their top male.
Listen, this is her idea. Like I said, the way they're making it seem like these women don't have any desires for sex. They don't like sex. They hate sex. Sex is disgusting. It's all for it's bullshit. They're lying. Women like group sex. A lot of women like something called hedonism, where they go to Jamaica and it's 10, 15 men, and it's just one of them. She's telling Diddy, I want to do an all-star freak-off with 3 of the top guys. Remember, the only one that doesn't smash during the freak-offs for the most part is Diddy. He pretends to go along with it because it'd be embarrassing to tell a woman no when she tells you her sexual fantasy. But just think about how weak you sound if a girl tells you her fantasy and you go, ew, she's not going to want to fuck with you anymore. So Diddy's just saying, okay. And you know what? He's thinking to himself, maybe if I provide a bunch of penis for her, she won't have to do what Cassie did and go behind my back to get penis on her own. Maybe I can be the guy that provides it so she doesn't have to sneak. But Diddy, you have to figure out there's no such thing as satisfying these women. They'll never be happy forever. That's a fool's errand. But you don't learn that until you experience it in life. I know that now. I didn't believe that at first. I used to believe, everybody's vanilla. Everybody just has regular missionary sex. I never thought women were freaks and women like to do this, that, and the third until I met women that actually like to do all these different things. And now that I'm hearing all these people pretend like these women don't exist, it's beyond me.
Hookers, right? 3 or 4 of the top hookers, the biggest schlongs, the biggest D. And they were going to have one night where it was just an all-star night. And she was just going to give it to them. She was going to give it to all of them on one night just to make him happy. She volunteered this, y'all. She volunteered this in 2023. At some point in 2023. They had started dating in 21. So as a result of, and this was going to be their first link up after they had broken up. They had broken up for about 6 weeks or so. So in that, she was coordinating that. Well, apparently she started to get cold feet. And so she was kind of walking it back. She's like, I'm tired, I'm sick. And Diddy was figuring out, and Diddy didn't want to hear nothing about it. He was not with it. Well, she said she got her cycle. She takes a picture of the toilet tissue and texts it to him to say, well, no, because he's like, F you, you're playing with my emotions, you're playing with me, X, Y, and Z. So she sends literally the tissue paper, her cycle.
Let's be real. She was playing with Diddy. For one thing, how the hell you gonna call me? I've already dumped you. I broke up with you. We're done. It's over. And then you call me out the blue. I answer the phone like, hello. And you're like, look, I want to do something fun. I miss you. I want to do something real nasty for you. And I'm a guy. I'm like, okay, well, I'm listening. You know, because I don't want to fuck with you no more. But how nasty are we talking? Like, what are we talking about here? Listen. Now I'm starting to realize Diddy's just a normal guy. He's insecure. He has a little bit of jealousy, and he's been cheated on. He's been hurt. Cassie, this woman, the other, they're all cheating on him. None of these women are loyal. I told my friend today, because he found out last night when we were leaving the club. He's like, yeah, Rico, this chick, I'm not going to say her name. She's kind of popular out here. He's like, yeah, bro, it's her birthday tonight. I bet you she's going to be with me after the club. And I was like, I don't know, because typically girls are usually with the man they fuck with on their birthday because they want birthday sex. Anyway, he called her. She answered, hung up immediately, turned off her phone. And he was like, she's been calling me every day for the past 2 weeks to remind me that today's her birthday. And she's going to want me, she's going to be with me tonight. We're going to do this, this, and this. All for her to go out and leave the club early with some other guy. So my friend's destroyed. But he's pissed because he's like, you're the one who called me. You're the one who said all this stuff, put everything together. And then you back out and no call, no show on me. Like, do you guys understand how fucked up that is when you do that to a guy? And when he's expecting to see you and this and this? Diddy's a regular guy. He just has money, but these women don't care about money anymore. They go from having sex with a billionaire to having sex with a personal trainer that used to clean the toilet for the billionaires. They don't care. They have no balance. There's no upgrade. They don't care. They go from the top to the bottom. They don't give a damn anymore. They'll go from sleeping with a
tampon, takes a photo of it, and sends it to him as proof. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And he's still mad. There was audio where where she's upset about it, and he tells her, including he says, you need to get on your job. Get on your job, referring to her doing FOs as part of her jobs. He said, you need to get on your job. And that, and she wrote him back. I was proud of her for standing up for herself. She says, I've been on my job for 2.5 years. You just got on hers. Because at this point, he had just got her the house and says, we can just call this even. So he wrote back, even. But she said, you've been threatening me any chance you could get. And by that, she said she meant hovering about the house, guilt tripping her about the house. So listen, so I looked up for S trafficking, the definitions that refer to fraud, force, and coercion. Here, as of now, we don't have any evidence of force. Force is what they're talking about with Cassie, the beatings, the beatdowns, all of that. Fraud, in order to prove fraud for S trafficking, you have to show that what you promised her was a material thing to her, so material that if you hadn't promised her that, she would not then be performing the X acts. That's what it is. And the government actually admitted after court, there was like a bunch of hearings, the government admitted that they are in fact trying to prove up this S trafficking based on the fraud, y'all. And here's the fraud. I need to hear in the comments if you agree with this as being a form of fraud for S trafficking, or how you feel the jury might receive it. The fraud is that
the jurors are going to laugh in your face. There's no fucking way he committed fraud because he, instead of taking her out for her birthday, he took someone else to somewhere better. And they're trying to now say that he used coercion because he decided not to pay her bills anymore because he met someone else. So he defrauded her in the relation. No, he doesn't owe her shit. And we're not going to even set that precedent. That's ridiculous. No, that is not fraud. And no, it's not sex trafficking. If you take a woman on a trip because she's beautiful and you have sex with her, God damn it, that is not sex trafficking. You're not going to make it sex trafficking. For one thing, the birth rates plummeted. The marriage rates have plummeted in this country. If you want to make it illegal to have heterosexual relationships and sex between men and women, then that's all the fuck you're doing when you try to pretend that it's illegal to be straight. It's illegal to take women out, but yet you're supposed to be nice to women. I thought you're supposed to spoil women and help women, but now because you give women money, you're a sex trafficker because you have sex with her too? Oh, well, what about the male escorts? That's not sex trafficking. She picked out some guys she wanted to bone. So you mean to tell me every man she ever had sex with her whole life, are they also going to be pulled into the RICO? You don't know how many other threesomes or foursomes she had before she met Diddy. So why you want to prosecute these? Did he put a gun to her head, a grenade, anything? No. So then where the fuck is this force? It's not there. So no, absolutely not.
he continued to promise her that basically they would be able to spend quality time together the next trip. The example they gave is that he then
I can promise you and bullshit you if I want to. That's my right. It's my right to say I feel like doing something tomorrow. And when I wake up the next day, if I don't fucking feel like it anymore, then we're not doing it. That's my right. That's not fraud and that's not coercion. If I say I want to do something tomorrow and I change my mind, I change my mind. His wallet, his choice. If she says she wants to have sex, and then the next day when it's time to come over, if she doesn't answer her phone anymore, can he call and make a charge against her for fraud? He took her shopping the day before. She promised him sex on Tuesday if he takes her to the Louis store on Monday. On Tuesday, she turns her phone off. Does he have a case for fraud? By these standards, absolutely. But it'll be a ridiculous charge. You cannot do that. That makes absolutely no sense.
Hey, Dennis is back. Say hello. Hey, Dennis. Yes.
Man, fuck Dennis. Get back to the show.
That the next trip he promised her they would go to Turks and Caicos. This is a tape.
I'm not taking you nowhere. If you're just the jump off chick, then you're the jump off chick. If I want to take a new chick that I met that's 15 years younger than you to Turks and Caicos, then I'm taking her. I don't owe you anything. That's not fraud. That's not fraud. That's me changing my mind. Changing your mind is not fraud. That's not coercion. It's not force. I can change my mind as a man. I don't want to do it with you anymore. I don't want you to be my woman anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. I don't want to have sex with you no more. We're not married. I can walk away from anybody I want to. The jury is 8 out of 12 are men. They're going to laugh at this. This is likely going to be a hung jury because women want to be able to sue men to extract resources when they break up. Women want to be able to go after their ex-boyfriends. There's a woman suing a man right now because she said he wasted her youth. The lawsuit's not going to go anywhere because you wasted your youth yourself. You chose to be with him. He does not control you. Remember, women and men are equal now. You have your own, you have autonomy, you have your own agency over yourself. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. If you chose to be with somebody and things don't work out, you can't sue them afterwards. And we're not going to set that precedent. So no, absolutely not. That's not fraud or coercion. It's personal preference.
A trip to Turks and Caicos. And on that trip, it would just be them and it would be great and it would be romantic. On the
He told her it's gonna be just me and you. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't tell her that. Where's the proof? It's just her words. Fuck her words. Show me where I signed something saying no one else is gonna be in Turks and Caicos but you. For one thing, bitch, I'm the one paying for the trip. You don't get to tell me who's coming on it. And you don't tell me the terms of it. You're asking me to go on a vacation. I'm telling you I'll take you, but I can choose a million. I'm Puff Daddy. I have access to billions of dollars, and every woman anyone from all over the world will want to go out. I'm a superstar celebrity at the time. I don't have to take you anywhere. I can take somebody else. You don't give me terms. You don't give me conditions. You say yes, sir, or no, sir, or you go to hell and you take yourself to Turks. This wasn't ever a negotiation. She's lying. Poor guy can't even defend himself because he has to just sit there and listen. These negotiations are going on in her head. He doesn't have to tell her anything. She shows up when I tell her to show up. I give her some money because I'm her man. I'm the man having sex with her. So of course I give her money. But now they want to legalize that. That's why you don't trick, you don't simp, you don't help. Oh, my kids can't eat. Then they're going to be hungry.
first day, that
I can't pay my rent, then you're going to be homeless. All this giving women money, trying to help them out. Look how it's being turned against the man that was actually doing it. This should piss off every man who was raised thinking you have to be good to women, because look where it gets you. It gets you seen as a pimp and a John at the same time. Well, you sex trafficked her. Really? Well, who bought her? Well, yourself. Well, I sex trafficked this woman to myself. Well, yeah. I'm like, so like, did I cash app myself? Because being the pimp, me being the customer as well. So I sent myself a cash app for her and I paid myself for. How does this whole being the John and the pimp at the same time, how does this whole dynamic work? Because it's not adding up. It's not making sense. You know, I'm not the smartest man on 2 feet, but you know, last time I checked, 2 + 2 = 4. But the math is not mathing right now.
first night, he calls over a male hooker. I think it was Paul. He calls over Paul. She's not feeling it. She gets upset. She actually takes off the bracelet that he had given her that day for her birthday and throws it and says, "You just want me to be your, whore. You just want me to be your prostitute." And she's upset and she runs out. And he chases walks after her, finds her. She's boohooing and crying. And he's like, "Why would you embarrass me in front of Paul like that?" Mind y'all, Paul is Diddy's personal trainer. Diddy has hired.
Exactly. Why the fuck are you embarrassing him in front of Paul like that? I flew you all the way out here. I flew you here. And you're going to make a scene now and change the terms of our agreement, of our arrangement? We have an arrangement. If you were going to do this, why not do this back in the States? Have this conversation with me and I could have took someone else. Why are you going to wait until we get here to throw a fit and embarrass me? Now I have to fly you back and fly somebody else in. It's possible, but it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Time is the one thing you can't get back. He knows that better than anybody. He's been sitting in jail losing how much time? And we don't have time to let these women just waste our times by bullshitting us and manipulating us. Saying one thing and then when the time comes, they want to do another. You have a right to say no. Well, then you also have the right to get the fuck out and leave too. But instead, you're staying there on this man's dime and you expect him to still do everything for you that he was doing before. The deal's changed. I'm not doing shit for you anymore, and I don't have to. This needs to be understood. No one owes you anything. If a man changes his mind, then he fucking changed it. I don't care if it's our wedding day. If I get to the altar right before we say I do, he asks me, "Do you take this woman to be your lawful wife?" If I say, "Do not change my fucking mind," and I just walk away, then that's my fucking right. You can't take me to court and sue me. What, you want to get the money back from people wasting their time showing up to the wedding? Man, they can kiss my ass. I'm not giving nobody nothing. I don't have to. Just like a woman can say no at any time, a man can fucking say no at any time he wants to, and he will. I respect Diddy putting his foot down now. He had St. Cassie that money. A week later, 3 days later, he found out she was cheating with Kid Cudi. Tell fucking Kid Cudi to give your mom 20 grand. "Hey, moms, I need my money back. I just sent that money to you guys. I need y'all to send my money back." It's not my fault that your daughter didn't just send me the money back. You got to go take it out of your home equity. Man, that's y'all. That's between you and her. Tell her to send me my money. Somebody send my money back. I didn't give her money to go cheat on me. Fuck no. You gotta stand up for yourself. Just because you're a man, you don't have to let women walk all over you and treat you like trash and use you. What the hell are we trying to say here? I thought men and women were equal. Well, then act like we're equals.
Personal trainer to do these freak offs. Somebody says, is her identity protected? Yeah, I'm not allowed to say her identity. And like the people in the courtroom are not allowed to reveal who.
Man, we know who that is. It's Fiddy's baby mama. Fiddy.
She is, or we can't go back. That rule doesn't apply to anyone else. So yeah, it is gaslighting. So Diddy then says, how dare you embarrass me in front of Paul? So then she's then, excuse me, Paul's there for another day and then he leaves, right? And Diddy has an attitude. They sleep in separate rooms. He's super upset. Thank you so much for this super chat. Hold on, let me try to put it on the screen. LTD says, has there been any mention of Carisha? Yes, there has. Yeah, I'm just talking about how Carisha came up because what happened was she was so upset. Her birthday came and all he did was schedule a freak off. And then
You're only good for freak offs. You're not good for anything else. You got any jokes? You gonna tell me a joke? Tell me a fucking joke. What are you, Seinfeld now? What are you, you're a comedian? You gonna do some Cirque du Soleil and do a cartwheel and the splits in midair? What else are you good for? What are you talking about? You're really pretty, and you're good looking for sex. You're not good looking for anything else. There's nothing else I need you to do for me. What else? Of course, you're going to be the freak off person. Everybody has people that they compartmentalize who are good for certain things. You got to know your strong suits. She's mad because she sees him with a new woman. The fact that this is coming up in court, so now the courts have become Jerry Springer. So now the courts have become Maury Povich. So now the courts have become the fucking shade room. Because you're black, they'll let the court of public opinion get you arrested and a bunch of people in the chat can get you convicted. Fuck that. What about the laws? Nobody has to do anything. Nobody owes you anything. You can change your mind. You cannot change your mind. You don't owe anybody, and that's not fraud. Me changing my mind and how I felt is not fraud. Why are they trying to put that on this man? Crazy part is, if Sean Combs was Sean Combs, the guy that worked down in the mail room at the law firm, and they would never even consider charging him with such bullshit, nonsensical charges. This is what I've been saying since day one when I saw the charges based upon the chatter on the internet. Two different realities. One's on the earth, one's in the clouds. They have nothing to do with each other. They're not crisscrossing at all. Matter of fact, let's see here.
Connected from the acquitted out of legal experts talk about the Diddy case. I ask myself one simple question. What is the Diddy case you're talking about? Because this guy is either going to be acquitted outright. There will be a judgment of acquittal granted, almost a directed verdict, if you will, by the trial judge. Or he will be reversed on appeal. Because the unfolding drama, this cacophony of irrelevance and sick behavior has nothing to do with the charges. The unfolding,
nothing to do with the charges filed. I've been saying that since I saw the charges filed. If you go back in my history, watch my other videos, I've been saying this since day one. The reason they focus on the baby oil so much and that video of Cassie and Diddy, of him kicking her on and pulling her to the ground back in 2015, which is far outside the statute of limitations. The only reason why they're harping on baby oil and a 15-second video of domestic violence is because they have nothing else. The rest is hearsay. Nothing else. Nothing. That's like trying to convict somebody over a bad dream somebody else had. That fucking dream has nothing to do with reality. That's not true. Well, in the dream, you hijacked an airplane and then you crashed it. So what the fuck? You were asleep. That never happened. None of that happened. Why are you can't arrest somebody over that? Me and my relationships is not for public judgment, but for you to now pretend you can convict me over how I deal with women who I'm having sex with or I'm dating. I can pay bills if I want to, or I can not pay bills if I want to. That's not coercion. That's not force. That's not rape, trafficking, none of the above. It's just, but everything else is just nonsensical. And it's just all being put out there as if it matters when it doesn't.
Legal proceedings involving Diddy have drawn, as you can understand, considerable public attention, but for reasons that are increasingly disconnected from the actual charges at hand. This is a fact people don't seem to pay attention to. As is often the case with celebrity trials, particularly those involving allegations of a sexual nature, the courtroom has become not merely a forum for the adjudication of facts and the allegations and the presentation of evidence, but a stage for the performance of social narratives and cultural grievances and prurient, sick curiosity from a bunch of babies who apparently have the sexual sophistication of an infant. Okay? Everything shocks them. Baby oil. What? Baby oil? It's incredible. Now, at its very core, the concern is this. The trial has evolved into a wide-ranging spectacle, this sensationalistic expose, where the prosecution has permitted and perhaps maybe encouraged a wide swath of testimony and evidentiary detail that, while salacious and scabrous and concupiscent and headline grabbing and, oh my God, and sick and sordid, it appears tangential at best, if not completely irrelevant. Irrelevant to the legal elements of the three charged offenses. Now, you have to, again, I'm saying this, must distinguish between conduct that is offensive, morally reprehensible, morally questionable, conduct that is sickening, and conduct which is criminal under the law. The two oftentimes have nothing to do with each other. You could do the most demented of things between two consenting adults. The American legal system, which is rooted in principles of due process and evidentiary fairness, demands that a defendant, any defendant, be tried not on the basis of his character or the character reputation of others, but on the narrow, constitutionally bound question of whether they committed the alleged offense charged in the indictment.
Again, Diddy's getting off. For one thing, I've asked this question 1,000 times. Follow me on TikTok, TheSingleBoyfriend _ You'll see Club Rico. I join these discussion groups on there. I try to go into adversarial ones that are anti-Diddy because they're pro-bullshit. I ask these people every time, I'm like, okay, so what do you want Diddy to be convicted of? What crime did Diddy commit? Did he murder somebody? Did he stab him? Did he kill him? Did he rob him? And you know what they have to do? They have to paint pictures. And they kind of have to fold reality and stretch and reach around and manipulate the law. I'll be honest with you. All of these things they're trying to convict them of are outside the statute of limitations. Applying the RICO Act so that there is no statute of limitations is also a perversion of the law. It's legal to do, but it's frowned upon because, well, what's the point of even having a statute of limitations if whenever somebody wants to get around those, within the statute of limitations are actually legal constructs that are put there for a reason. But you can circumvent them by just hitting someone with the RICO Act. And you throw words in there like conspiracy and racketeering, and you try to manipulate where you find little ways where all you need is just one person to say that. It's like, do you really feel proud of yourself that you just basically pissed on the legal system and literally manipulated it so that you can get a conviction that's going to get overturned on appeal, or it's going to fall apart anyway because a jury's going to laugh at you? Telling a jury that there's a one-man sex trafficking enterprise where he's both the pimp and the customer is a fucking joke. Women however, who want to be the victim and they want to be able to sue their ex-boyfriends and get money because they're old now and they've lost their demand. They're not able to demand tons of money and resources in exchange for just their presence or their body anymore. So they go broke. So they want to see a precedent where you can go after your ex and get money and sue your ex-husband and your ex-boyfriend for abuse, and they give you money. Those are going to be the only holdouts, are going to be women. So this is probably going to be a hung jury, and because but it shouldn't even go there. There should be an acquittal. Men are going to laugh at this. Is laughable that you're bringing in this man's personal relationship and his sexual proclivities, and you're twisting them into show that he's committing trafficking and prostitution. These are his girlfriends. Now you're insulting the women by saying, no, they're whores. They're prostitutes. They're not the girlfriend. He gave her money. He took her shopping. That's Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. That's not a nice, wholesome wife. So basically, any woman, it's she's either your wife or you're trafficking her, is what they're basically saying. You're not married to her, so you're trafficking her. You're having sex with her, you're taking her on vacation, you're taking her shopping. Oh yeah, that's prostitution. You're compensating her for sex. Well, then what if I met her and took her to dinner and we had sex? Am I compensating? Is she compensating me for the meal with sex? Is she going to be charged? Like, you cannot take relationship norms and criminalize them, which they're trying to do. If I don't want to have a regular vanilla relationship and get married and have 3.5 kids with a picket fence and a fucking dog, if I want to do something a little bit different, that's not a crime. And people should not be looking at this and trying to picture themselves as the standard for how another person should behave. If he wants to have wild sex and get high, that's his business. He can do drugs. He's not selling drugs to anybody. He's a customer. He's a junkie. He's not forcing it. You guys are trying to pretend he has some kind of drug enterprise. Well, actually, just one person did drive some drugs there, but did she do the drugs too? Well, yeah. Well, then she didn't drive it for him. She drove it for herself. Why are you giving all these people immunity if all these crimes are real? It's idiotic, and there is no crime there. You know, this man right here, Lionel Legal, he's absolutely correct.
That beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. And what has transpired in the court, bears the markings of, for no other reason, prosecutorial overreach, where the case has been inflammatory testimony regarding Diddy's sexual predispositions, proclivities, his lifestyle, relationships, and whether they've been violent or not. What does that have to do with violation of the Mann Act, sex trafficking, and having a racketeering enterprise? They've taken center stage. They've overshadowed the specific elements that the prosecution must prove, and only that, to sustain a conviction.
He's absolutely correct. He hit it on the head. What does any of this have to do with a violation of the Mann Act, trafficking and prostitution, sex trafficking, RICO? It has nothing, and I mean nothing at all, to do with any of the things they're basically discussing on a daily basis in the news.
Are we going to do, is this going to be Harvey Weinstein again? You know, the risk in this approach is substantial. Courts have long recognized the prejudicial impact of introducing bad character evidence or evidence unrelated. This is 403 evidence, unrelated immoral conduct, to sway a jury emotionally rather than intellectually. Federal Rule of Evidence 403, mirrored in many jurisdictions, allows for the exclusion of evidence, even if its probative value is there, but is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusing the issues, or misleading the jury. That's what they're going to hang the appeal on. Now, here, that danger has materialized in full force. I mean, it is radioactive. And witnesses have testified to events that span years, some of which are temporarily and temporarily, I should say, and substantively disconnected from the indictment. The introduction of allegations involving third parties, non-criminal conduct, or consensual relationships and hookups, however unconventional and weird and freaky in the freak-offs, does little to illuminate whether the specific conduct alleged in the charges in the indictment occurred in a criminal fashion. And more troubling is that much of this testimony has not been challenged under evidentiary motions or motions in limine, or nor adequately limited by the bench, in essence, allowing the jury to conflate lifestyle with liability. Now, of course, I'm not there and we're not there, so we're kind of assuming a lot of this. Maybe this has been done, but
No, he's right. Has the jury been instructed to understand that none of this is more than just a bunch of hearsay about this man's personal and private sexual lifestyle? And it shouldn't be admitted as any type of evidence? What they're trying to do is they're trying to piece together 15 years of behavior to show that he's a one-man criminal enterprise of sex trafficking. And while he's also a customer, he's also the pimp, and the prostitutes are the girls that are basically choosing to be with this millionaire celebrity. Like he needs money to get women to want to be with him. Get the fuck, bro. It's unbelievable. This man is absolutely correct. This is all hearsay nonsense. The fact that he was paying her bills and giving these women money, you do that when you're with somebody. You do that when you're a boyfriend. If anything, he's a sugar daddy. She's a sugar baby. An old ass sugar baby, but a sugar baby nonetheless. And there are websites that promote that every day on the internet. That is not a crime. We cannot criminalize that. No more than you can criminalize porn. If he says he wants to have multiple guys there to have sex with her, and she says cool, then then we can do that. That's not force or coercion. Just because you change your mind, you can't retroactively remove something that you consented to years ago. That's like me calling IHOP and saying, "Hey, I ordered a breakfast burrito and a steak about 7 months ago. I decided that I don't want the meal anymore. I need a refund." What the services have already been rendered. It's over. We've moved past that. There is no going back. Okay, you can't do that. And the fact that the courts are pretending that they're going to allow you to do that just because they don't like you, they're going to let somebody illegally go back and retroactively try to apply some new laws to you, with that all lack evidence and proof of any wrongdoing. It's ridiculous. Keep your money in your pockets, fellas. Stop treating these women. Stop doing this and this. If you want to go on a trip, meet a woman when you get there. All this simping and tricking, now it's being used against you. You were better off being an asshole. Being a nice guy, calling yourself love, even that's not going to work. Even that's not going to work. Tory Lanez wanted to protect all black women, and now he just got sliced the fuck up in prison. Fuck them. Do what you got to do, but do not fall for it. Like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back. And please take a word from our sponsor, cosigning.com. We got another topic coming up in about 30 minutes. Click the video below for the next one. Thank you.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found CoSigning.com. They connected me with a co-signer who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the co-signer you need for the apartment you want. Check out CoSigning.com today.